Hi everyone. Here we are with a quick tip video showing how to use the index of method from the string class. So for this video, we're going to create a string variable called example and set it equal to a new string that we just created with the word variable. All right, so what index of does is actually going to search through a string and tell us the position of the string that we're searching for. So when it returns the position, it's going to return that as an int. So when we actually call this method, we do need to create an int variable to store this information. And then to call the index of method, we use the name of the variable, dot operator, name of the method, index of, and then the string that we're searching for. In this case, we're going to search for the letter R. Okay, so remember, before you run your code, it's important to actually read through it and predict what you think is going to happen, so that you can test it and then find out that it actually works the way that you're expecting. So to test it, we'll print out A. But before we run this code, let's have a look at this and see if we can predict what will actually happen. Right? So we're looking for the letter R. And if we come up here to our string, remember that each letter has an index and it starts at 0. So the letter V is index 0, letter A is index 1, so letter R should be index 2. So what we're expecting this to print out should be the number 2. Compile it, and then run our code, and you see we did in fact find the position of this R2 at position 2. So now let's try another example here, where instead of searching for the letter R, we're going to search for the letter A. Now you'll notice that in this word there are actually 2 instances of the letter A. We have one at position 1, and the second one would be 2, 3, 4, at position 4. So in this case, index of is going to search for the letter A, and it starts from the beginning of the string. And the way this method works is it keeps searching until it finds that string, and then once it finds it, it returns that position. So it actually will never get to the second A. It'll just return a 1 here. So if we test our code here, compile it, and run it, you see we get the number 1. The last thing I wanted to show you is that the nice thing about index of is that it can search for not just a single letter, but it can also search for an entire string. So instead of just searching for the letter A, let's search for the string AB. So in this case, it's going to come up here, check this A, notice that it's followed by an R, so it's going to say, okay, this doesn't match, and then it's going to keep moving forward. It's going to keep moving forward through the string from 0, 1, 2, 3, and then finally at position 4, it finds that string. And what it's going to return to us is the position of the beginning of that string. All right, so let's try this. Hopefully I'm correct in my assumptions here, and I am. It prints out the number 4. But there is one other thing, which is what happens if we try to search for the index of a string that's actually not in there. Well, Java has a very special way of dealing with this. When we compile that code and run it, it returns a -1. All right, this is like a code that tells us, okay, I did not find that string. -1 is reserved for indicating that it wasn't found inside that string. Okay, that's index of, and at this point, you can move on to the coding activities in the rest of this lesson. All right, everyone, that brings us to the end of Unit 2, Lesson 3 on string functions. I hope that you were able to catch all of the different string methods that are available to you, and now it's time to move on to the review questions and the coding activities.